Joe Schoen's first year of running the draft for the Giants certainly got off to a big start on Thursday night when he got the edge rusher in Kayvon Thibodeaux that they've been looking for years, got a much-needed starting right tackle in Neal, and everybody was happy. And then came day two. And the second 2 days of the draft certainly weren't as exciting as the first one, and Joe Schoen's picks were greeted more with shrugs than with high fives and hugs and a big celebration. And that's because on day 2 and 3, what he ended up doing was really looking for the future and building a foundation of this team. Not a bad strategy at all. He is rebuilding this team, whether he will admit it or not. It is a flawed roster with cap issues. They got to get some talent in there, some young talent, and they've got to get players, perhaps most importantly, that fit their new offensive and defensive system. Brian Daboll is going to change everything about the offense. Wink Martindale is going to change everything about the defense, and they need their types of players, and that's where these picks got interesting. And it really started off with their pick in the second round when they took the 5'8" receiver from Kentucky, Wan'Dale Robinson, that certainly looked like a reach, and maybe he will turn out to be a reach. He's probably going to be the 4th or 5th receiver on this year's team, but when Brian Daboll looked at him, he saw a player that fits perfectly into his scheme that he thinks he can do a lot with. Exactly what? Well, we haven't seen his scheme in action yet for the Giants, so it's hard to say, but he sees him as a valuable player for the program he's trying to build. It's the same with some of the defensive players that they got on the second 2 days. When they got Cordell Flott, a thin but fast cornerback. That's the kind of player that Martindale seems to like. They got an aggressive linebacker in Micah McFadden from Indiana. Maybe not your typical middle linebacker in terms of size and all the measurables, but he can certainly get after the passer, which we know is something that Martindale likes. They got a big hitting safety in Dane Belton. They got a really big block-eating defensive tackle in DJ Davidson. So all these players may not have an impact right away, but they are players who the coaches look at and think they can be a part of our system and what we're trying to build here. And that's also, by the way, true of the young offensive linemen they got. They added more offensive linemen, which you knew when you looked at this Giants roster, they needed to start getting better young talent to develop for the future. And the future is what this is all about. Well, the team across town, the Jets, got a lot of players who can help them now. That wasn't what this Giants draft was all about. They got a couple players who can help them now. As for the rest of them, only time will tell. We'll have to wait and see just how good all of these picks are.